Hey folks, today is January 11th, 2018. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino. We got a lot of video game stuff to talk about this week. It has been a week, so let's get right into it. The first thing is the obviously huge shakeup at Activision and Bungie and the whole Destiny thing. So, if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, Activision has officially relinquished ownership and publishing rights of Destiny back to Bungie. Bungie, of course, are the creators of Destiny. And of course, initially, Activision purchased Bungie and had them make a new IP for them, and that was, of course, Destiny. Now, Destiny has a huge and loyal fan base, but it's unfortunately still not big enough for something like Activision. The tension has been there for a while. We've heard about it. We've heard rumblings of all sorts of things with Destiny wanting to engage the hardcore crowd that does play the player base, and then on the flip side, Activision just wants more players, more money, but it wasn't hitting those numbers. Most recently, they had made it free on PC to kind of bolster the player base. But now the newest thing is that a deal has been reached, and Bungie is getting complete control and will continue to self-publish Destiny. That is absolutely huge. That's crazy. I think, even if you're not crazy about Destiny, I think this is a very interesting footnote in, the history book of Bungie as a developer. This is crazy. You don't really hear about stuff like this where a creator is able to just walk away with their IP. I think it shows that Activision just really didn't want anything to do with it anymore. But that's fine, I think, because it allows Bungie to essentially embrace their creation and make it how they truly want and not be saddled by essentially trying to make numbered sequels every so often years because, the owner wants more money coming in. Now, hopefully they can figure out a way to, totally embrace their game and build up the lore that they have built and embrace some of the stuff that they have left on the cutting room floor and truly make the game that they set out to make in the first place, The question is this automatically going to make Destiny a game for everyone? I don't think so. I think some people are going to be curious now that it doesn't have a big AAA publisher attached, but at the end of the day, it's still built as a games as a service game. There will still be monetization practices. Maybe they won't be as predatory. Destiny and Bungie have already been fixing a lot of things, listening to fan feedback. Honestly, Destiny 2, right? According to you, a Destiny fan, has been really good lately.
Yeah, it's been really good lately. It's
better. So now, I guess the only way you can go is up even more. It seems like Destiny fans are pretty pleased with this, so that's cool. So if anything, even if you don't like Destiny, I am of the type of person to just celebrate something like this because it's cool to see, and I hope that fans get more of what they want ultimately. We got a whole deep dive video about that coming out soon, but I'm just curious to see how this is going to work because self-publishing, I've seen a lot of people in the industry say that is not an easy feat, even if you are a medium-sized company. Thankfully, if you remember last year, Bungie did get $100 million in funding from NetEase. That was, of course, to develop new IP, but still, what that does mean is that the lights will be kept on at Bungie so they can hopefully do what they want to do. But I am curious to see what you guys think because this is the whole point of this show. I want to hear from both people. If you hate Destiny and if you're always the person to comment how much you hate Destiny, how do you feel about this news? And if you are a big Destiny fan, what are you thinking? Are you enticed by the idea of a big unknown sexy future ahead of you? And of course, what does this mean for Activision of all people who has had some shakeups lately? Activision Blizzard as a whole with Mike Morhaime and stuff like that, the departures. I'm very curious to see what goes on there. I don't think they're going away tomorrow because they're just this big giant company. But still, who knows? I don't really know what the future holds, but we'll see. Now, in other news, something I am really excited about. If you missed this, Capcom announced Resident Evil 2 is getting a demo, which went live, I don't have a watch. Today, January 11th, it's called a one-shot demo. So basically what it is you get a 30-minute chunk of the game. And it's up to you to try and play through it and beat it. It's an early section with Leon in the police station. I think this is a really cool way of giving out a demo. Also, if you complete it, you do get a new trailer at the end. It has leaked. We have seen it. It is really cool. It shows Hunk and Tofu, and that's really awesome. Honestly, sorry if I'm babbling. Resident Evil 2, still one of my favorite games of all time, so this remake, reimagining is definitely on my most anticipated list. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm actually excited to the point where I'm not going to play the demo because I don't want anything spoiled for me. Spoiled for me, even though I know how the whole game ends. But still, I don't know. You know what I mean? In other news, let's talk about God of War. There was apparently plans for God of War DLC, thanks to an interview with head creative Cory Barlog. Balrog? I always get it wrong.
Balrog is from Lord of the Rings.
That's what I want it to be. God. Anyway, Mr. Corey was doing an interview on Kind of Funny, of all places, and he kind of briefly touched upon the fact that he had pitched a big DLC, something along the lines of the Last of Us Left Behind DLC or the Uncharted Lost Legacy. He said the idea was deemed by some crazy, too ambitious, it wouldn't work, it was too big to be a DLC, and ultimately it didn't go anywhere. I could only really imagine what it could have been. There's so many avenues it could go, but it's also plenty of avenues I think that would be great for a complete sequel, so who knows. If you missed it, Cory Balrog also went and described fake plans for DLC, like a Fast and the Furious Battle Royale mode where Atreus turns into a car. It's funny, it's stupid stuff. If you want to look it up, check it out. Now, of course, CES 2019 did go down. If you haven't been following it too much, there was some announcements for games, a lot of hardware stuff. I will link a video that we made earlier in the week if you want to catch up on stuff. But one interesting bit of news is, of course, the FreeSync, gysnc stuff, which is potentially exciting for PC gamers, but not without some caveats. So Nvidia has announced that they are bringing gysnc to FreeSync monitors. This is, of course, the monitor refresh tech that can make games look pretty damn good. The way it works is gysnc is Nvidia's tech and FreeSync is AMD's tech. But the problem is it's really nice that they're opening things up, but just the gysnc drivers won't work with every single FreeSync monitor. Nvidia apparently said that only 12 of 400 monitors that they've been testing have actually worked so far. So that is going to take a lot of work on their part. Are they going to actually carry that all out? I would think so. If they want their platform to grow, it's good to just have gysnc as a brand, as a word out there more. And I know a lot of PC gamers that do clamor for this type of tech, so for it to be more accessible, even if it's an uphill battle, I think ultimately it should be worth it. Next up in the news, sort of a massive disappointment, we are getting a new Alien Isolation style game. It's called Alien Blackout, but unfortunately, it's going to be only on mobile. Of course, it is a very graphically intensive, good-looking mobile game, but it is not at all what fans were hoping as this game was kind of leaked and teased and led up to. I think because some people really, really liked Isolation and how much of a surprise that was, people were hoping for more, rightly so. To be fair, on the flip side, the publisher did say that this isn't the last we're going to see of Alien announcements this year, so I would like this to be a lead up to a new mainline game. This one on mobile phones does again star Amanda Ripley, which is crazy, but they said it's not a sequel to Isolation, which is kind of weird. Like, what are you doing with the canon? Is it canon? They said it kind of is. It's just funny after the whole Blizzard Diablo on phones debacle thing. Like, read the room, guys. Damn. All right, enough with the serious stuff. Can we talk about dumb shit yet? They're making Final Fantasy 14 weddings. I've had this link saved on my desktop all week because I thought it was like the coolest, weirdest thing. Check this out. In Japan, of course, sanctioned by Square Enix, Final Fantasy 14 weddings are a thing. People do get married in the game, like in-game, like people have done it in World of Warcraft as well. But this is like an extension out there where you can purchase a whole package in a venue that does sort of already do video gamey themed weddings. You can get dresses and outfits themed to the game, food, drink. And you know what? I love this. I'm not going to make fun of this. You do you. As someone who has recently gotten married, I think it's important that you should just do whatever the fuck you want. I had Amiibos and Jurassic Park music at my wedding. Why can't you have a Final Fantasy wedding? What if I had a Metal Gear Solid wedding? What would that even be like? I have no idea in hell at all. But since we are talking about cool things, we find cool things on the internet. So linked in the description below, a couple of things. The first thing is some art by God of War's art director. He's done some Super Smash Brothers mock-up art that is really, really cool. And seriously, do not miss this. A lot of you guys out there had tweeted me this. I really appreciate it. This is an Ars Technica video, a little mini documentary behind the original Dead Space with some new information, some new behind-the-scenes insights from the heads of development there. And it's a really good watch. I love stuff like this, and I'm happy Ars Technica is putting stuff out like this. If you want to watch it, it's linked in the description below. I highly recommend checking it out this weekend. Also, PSA, not sponsored or anything, but if you do have the Epic Games platform, this right now, the free game is What Remains of Edith Finch. It is technically a walking simulator, but it's an absolutely interesting one. It's probably one of the better ones, so if you're just looking out for a free game, like I said, 2019 Friday show, I'm just trying to give you guys a little more insight into what's going on out there, so check that out. And in other news, a surprising industry upset from earlier this week, The Division 2, Ubisoft has announced that it will not be available on Steam. Instead, The Division 2 is going to be on Epic Games Store. Another huge get for this new PC platform that has seemingly come out of nowhere, and that's crazy and unexpected. Of course, you're still going to be able to get it on Uplay, but it's like two sides of the story. It's fascinating that they're prioritizing Epic Games, but it's also fascinating that they're completely giving the finger to Steam. I think it's honestly a bottom line. It's a money thing. Obviously, as you guys know, it's been highly publicized. Epic Games' revenue cut, split, deal thing, whatever, is way more generous than Steam's. So it seems like Ubisoft is making the money moves. As someone who is looking forward to the Division 2, I am curious to see how this all goes down. They did put out a trailer kind of highlighting the PC support. The original Division was like a completely different beast on PC in a lot of ways, community-wise and other. So I'm curious to see how the Division 2 fares. But moving on to some corporate-y news, since we're just talking about a lot of that this week. The big question remains, is GameStop in trouble again thanks to this recent news? According to word on the street, by February, they are going to be acquired by one of two companies that have been bidding for them. Now, of course, as you know, GameStop has been experiencing a lot of issues, a lot of CEO departures. They got a new guy who came in and he's like, I could fix this. And then like a month later, he left and was like, I can't fix this. Now, the fact that GameStop is going to be acquired or snatched up by bigger vulture companies doesn't always mean that it doesn't always spell doom. Interestingly enough, the DualShockers article we linked has some interesting insight in the fact that these partners that might acquire GameStop actually have a history of trying to revive and turn around companies and actually work out. That's the big question. I don't think it's whether or not will GameStop go away tomorrow. It's will GameStop see another massive change when it's under a new umbrella. I don't really go to GameStop that much. It's kind of a necessary evil sometimes when like you're really broke. But I know a lot of people out there like despise it completely. My question to you guys is like, if it were to turn around, if it were to change, if it were to embrace the normal sale of games and digital and stuff like that, what could it do to win you back? Could it win you back? I don't know. When I do buy physical games, I usually just buy them at Best Buy or Amazon, but that's just me. I'm curious to see what you guys think. If you do have GameStops near you, maybe you have Game in the UK, which I believe that's facing its own troubles. I would just love to know, though, some insight. If you guys do buy physical games, where do you buy them? How do you buy them? Let's talk. Now, before we go, we got to do that console giveaway we do every single week. You know how that goes by now. There's a link in the description below. You click it to sign up. You enter once, then you're entered for good. And then every single week, we go in and randomly choose one person to win a free console of their choice. And this week's winner is going to be, drum roll please, this guy right here. Congratulations, or maybe it's a girl, I don't know. Congratulations, be sure to keep an eye on your inbox, your spam box, stuff like that, because Tom's going to be reaching out to you to figure out how we can send you your free stuff. But now, we got to go, but we got to talk about all the stuff. Destiny, what do you think? What do you think this means? Yeah, woo. Yay. Pretty good. Good job, guys. If you could forge a union and marry the love of your life and have a themed video game wedding, ideally in a not tacky way, what video game would it be? And what do you think God of War DLC could have been like? Do you think it could really just go right into the after credits scene and embrace that, or tell a side story? What do you think would have been reserved for like a sequel and would have been reserved for a DLC? Let's talk about that. Really, let's talk about anything video games and stuff we talked about this week down in the comments. We'll be down there talking to you as much as possible. But of course, if you ever want to get at me, Twitter and Instagram at Jake Baldino, and pop over on discord.gg/gameranx. A lot of cool folks over there. Shout out to our mods. We love them. Not only do we love them, we love you. And we love you even more if you click the like button, because that really helps us out. Thank you. If you are new, though, you should subscribe and, click that notification bell, because we put out videos every single day. But I'm here on Before You Buys, and I'm here every Friday and Tuesday live, 4 p.m. Eastern. And I'm Jake Baldino. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Pizza's on me.